Afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? So earlier this morning, I was sent a link to an article about a free college plan, basically for families who make less than $125,000 a year. Their kids can go to community college and four-year university without paying for the tuition. This really came from a video I did in the last 48 hours about living paycheck to paycheck. In that video, I talk about high paying jobs, essentially keeping you in the rat race. So that's why I was sent the article and was asked for my opinion. So, a couple of things. First, I am a firm believer that a higher education leads to higher incomes. I believe there is strong evidence that shows more education, higher paying jobs. We are seeing in this health crisis, for example, a clear breakdown of higher education more likely to stay employed. This argument was starting to become suspect, late 2019 when we had 3.5% unemployment. We had folks like Gary Vee pushing entrepreneurship and things of that nature. So there was a set of cohorts that were challenging that idea. But with any crisis, any recession, I believe it shows, generally speaking, the higher your education, the more likely you are to stay employed or get the next job. So let's just at least pay that respect. Second, access to higher education is certainly not equal to all parties. So I think providing a platform or vehicle for those who have been long disadvantaged because they don't have the funds or the time to do it, I think that is a good thing. I think setting a threshold at some number is appropriate. Again, this is also public college, right? There will obviously be private education. So in general, I fully support the idea. I think it is a very interesting and worthwhile adventure. But a couple of things. First, like my living paycheck to paycheck video, a higher education, making more money, does not, repeat, does not put you on the path to financial freedom. A higher education essentially gives you a ticket to the rat race. It allows you possibly to expand your monthly expenditures. Really take a look at that video. I think the title starts with living paycheck to paycheck, done in the last 48, maybe 30, maybe 36 hours. There's a lot in that video. And I just need people to realize that, yes, while there is a connection with higher education and more income, if the goal is financial freedom, financial independence, education isn't always the right answer. Again, I go back to a game done by Robert Kiyosaki. It's called Cash Flow. And I have one of the original board games, $200. You do the math with a pencil and an eraser. And I remember every time I got the doctor or lawyer card, it was like, oh, I'm never going to get out of the rat race. But if I got a teacher or policeman or something else where my monthly expenditures were lower, I was able to get out of the rat race in 15 or 20 minutes. So while I fully support education, I fully support this idea of free college, I do want you to realize, or at least I want to acknowledge, that if your goal is financial freedom and financial independence, higher education isn't always the right answer. It is the right answer. If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, guess what? You're going to go to school, right? But there are other ways to make a living. And if you can live on $2,000 a year, or a month, $2,000 a month, you could be financially free in 5 or 6 years. You don't need a college education to do that. The second thing I want to talk about is Georgetown, which put out this report that says while this idea of free college for families making less than 125 grand will cost $50 billion a year, At the year 10 mark, once these generations have start earning more income, i.e. income taxes will be raised, it will start to pay for itself. In Georgetown's model, year 11, the cost of the program will cost $73 billion, but the cumulative benefit, because every year there's more people graduating, so the tax basis grows. So by year 11, the tax benefit will be 186, call it $187 billion in additional taxes. More people graduating, higher income equals more taxes. I think that logic holds. So in the end, I think anything that gives opportunity to folks that may not have it is a good thing. Certainly believe that higher income will lead to higher taxes. That's kind of a no-brainer. Do I believe that it'll be year 10 or 11? I'm not really sure that's important. I support this idea. I mean, I don't know about you. Just so you know where I've come from, I went to junior college. I was married at 19, so I was rather young and stupid. But I went to junior college. I don't recall, but I bet you my yearly tuition costs were $5,000 or less, which I paid for. I actually paid for that while working at Sears in the washer and dryer department. In fairness, my parents did buy my books, so I paid tuition, but my parents bought books, which I'm sure wasn't cheap. Then I transferred to Santa Clara University and took out student loans. Again, was a married young man. I believe I left my undergraduate degree with $40,000 in debt. I started paying my student loans back. And then a year or 18 months later, I did go back and get my MBA. So when you go back, or at least back then, when you go back and get your MBA, you don't pay debt, right? You pile on more. So that's kind of how I did. So let's be clear. I personally paid for my education. I would have certainly qualified for this. My parents did make $125K a year, probably ever, certainly ever while I was living at home. But it's okay. I think this is a good thing. I think we need to do this, frankly. I think doing a program like this will expand the base. Right now, this health crisis, this K-shaped economy, is proving, at least to me, that we have too many people on the bottom of the K. It is not okay. I believe one thing we can do is increase the education, the base knowledge. And if that means $50 billion is an investment in the youth of the future, so be it. I think that is a good idea. I think it really does set us up to be better prepared for the next recession. So I'm all for this. I don't know where this is coming from. I was given an article, but I like the idea. I think it helps the people that need the help. I think it provides the opportunity. And I think longer term, this is good for everybody. If we can raise all the ships, we all benefit. So that's what I took from this. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for sending me articles. If you want my opinion on something, leave the comments below. Take care. Bye-bye.